Hi, it's Romy, Gemini. Welcome to the channel. This is your April 2021 soul story. If you have your sun rising or your moon is in the sign, hopefully this is a general reading, but it might just give you some insight and help to navigate your way through the next few weeks. So we're into Aries energy, lighting up your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and you're on the move, Gemini. You're on the move. There is a restlessness about you through the course of April, but at the same time there's this acknowledgement that you are wildly capable of achieving and harnessing and going in the direction of the things that are now important and being prioritized for you. This is your rite of passage, you know, but you're in control. You're the one that is steering the boat here, and you're taking all of those difficult life lessons, all of those emotional experiences that you've been through, and you are allowing yourself to progress and evolve from them. Now, what we expect is that when we have been through periods of tremendous transition and change, that we will be to a certain extent at times tested by the universe, so that we can demonstrate to ourselves and allow that confidence to be built that actually, yes, we are doing things differently. We have moved beyond, we have let go, we have released. And so you need to understand that April is going to be an interesting month for you by way of, yes, there's going to be a lot of validation, a lot of things coming together, falling into place, but at different moments there's also going to feel like there's a lot of challenge or things that are going to feel like they're trying to stop you or block you. But your problem-solving capability and the way in which you're going to be able to take creative control is going to have a huge impact on what your experience is going to be this month. And what we need to remember with the Six of Swords is that there is movement in the journey. This is not a month of stagnation, far from it. In fact, the momentum is being built really powerfully. We've got the Magician coming through just to further validate that actually you are in the driver's seat right now, and your ability to manifest, your ability to draw strength from everything that you've been through, all of the things that are going on around you, is really helping you to find new ways, new solutions. The measure of your spirit and soul is really being wonderfully mirrored back to you. And there's this understanding that we want you to take about this month, Gemini, which is that you will get there. But right now, you're on the journey. And you are where you are, and so there's a beauty and a wonder and an appreciation that we want you to find exactly where you stand right now, because even if it's not exactly where you want to be, having that continuous need to be someplace else, and we know that's part of your restless spirit. It's what makes you you in so many instances and actually keeps you moving forward. But there's also that acknowledgement that sometimes Aries fire energy can bring about a little bit of agitation and that desire to just be feeling a bit reckless, a bit impulsive, and just kind of push things and force things. And actually, we're not forcing in this boat. And we're not forcing either with the Magician's energy. You know, this is about kind of harnessing and letting the energy and the building of the momentum work for us, not against us. So Mercury's moving into Aries on the 3rd. We've got a beautiful new moon lighting up on the 11th, which is going to be fantastic for anything you want to do by way of launching, especially if it's on the online space or connected to any kind of group activity or involving others. A lot of community support coming through to help you. The Queen of Wands coming through here could be a fire sign, an Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, that's going to be very significant for you by way of making changes and adjustments, getting things done, being able to be seen, somebody that might be really pivotal in just helping you to get in front of the right person or to open a door, feels really significant. Lot of creative energies to work with through the course of Aries season in that 11th house. Now, on the 9th, just ahead of the new moon, Mars in your sign squares Neptune and Pisces. Bit uncomfortable, Gemini. So be aware that there might be some kind of weird conflict conversations or things that feel a little bit illusional, just that cause some doubt or some confusion, but you are going to clear that out, okay? And again, I do see you moving away from challenge or being able to identify and problem solve your way to a solution that's going to be right for you. You're going to be exceptionally busy, and at the same time you're going to be doing it in a smarter way than perhaps you have done up to this point. So you're just making the time work for you, and that equinox through the course of March should have highlighted where the changes for you by way of work-life balance or taking control or reprioritizing things needed to happen. There was a tremendous amount of wisdom that came through here. Here we have the energy of the Hermit. Now, through the course of this month, the asteroid goddess Juno and Vesta are also making some moves. So Juno on the 12th, the wife of Jupiter, is the ruler of marriages, of soulmates, of commitment and love. And she's going retrograde in Sagittarius, which is your 7th house of relationships. So a lot of wisdom, but internal wisdom, checks and balances that you're going to be making, some karmic deliverance where you're needing to step outside of a partnership and a situation in order to really realize where you've lost yourself or where you need to reestablish some aspect of your own divine connection. And then we have Vesta on the 20th, beautiful spiritual priestess energy, inviting in the stillness, the peace, the sacred space. She links directly to Virgo, the natural ruler, which of course the Hermit does as well. And so although you may have a Virgo energy that's going to play an important part again through the course of this month for you, there's something also about realizing that the energy of the 6th house, which is what Virgo rules, and also where your placement is when we have the full moon in Scorpio on the 26th of the month, is saying, how do we take care of ourselves through this process of change and transition? There's a lot that's going to be happening for you through the course of this month, and you're meant to be shining. You're meant to be like lit up like the sun, the stars and the moon through this course of April. And so anything that is dulling that, anything that is trying to lower you or kind of put those challenges in your way, you're meant to be rising up and over so that you can see more for yourself, okay? Now, as we come into Taurus season, Venus moves into Taurus on the 14th, bringing that beautiful sensual activation of how you feel your way into communication and the connections and the love aspects of important people in your life. We also have the Sun and Mercury moving into Taurus as of the 19th. It's also your 12th house, Gemini, so there's a healing and a release and a sense of completion and closure that we're also coming to. And again, there might be some emotional distance taking place or a need for you to kind of step back from someone or something through the course of April, just because you need to follow your own path. You need to listen to your own voice, and perhaps it's just been a little bit muted in different instances. But don't let that stop you from also receiving the support and being able to network and identify those people that can still help you. Maybe even it's that you need those people to help enable you to have more time, so moving things off of your plate or just finding people that can step in to support you in that instance. So we've got the energy of strength coming in right in the center of your reading. She links to the sign of Leo, so again there's more fire coming through for you, but that fire is bringing an intensity, it's bringing a passion, it's bringing a resiliency, and it's bringing the desire to get to where you need to go and know that you have what it takes. And I need you to hear that. You're going to know that you have what it takes in April to achieve the goal, to find the resolution, to make it through whatever it is that's going on in and around you, whether it's in the internal emotional thoughts and feelings that you're having or trying to come to terms with, or if it's some kind of external situation that you're up against right now. Strength will only ever step forth in a reading because you are about to discover something that you never knew you had within you in order to overcome and to find that level of peace. And I tell you, the Six of Swords, the Hermit and the Strength for me are bringing this gorgeous sense of like deep, profound spiritual peace into this reading for April for you, Gemini. So even though we have a little frenetic busyness and the fire and the charge, of the Magician and the Queen of Wands who are just like churning things up, making things happen, at the same time, the root and the balance and the foundation of things is coming from that beautiful sense of inner peace. And I think that's the discovery that you're going to be coming to through the course of this month, that, oh, this is how I access this within me. Vesta's going to help with this as she moves direct in Virgo on the 20th. It's about that inner flame, that sacred space that you hold for yourselves, no matter what is going on around you, how much upheaval might be happening, what is taking place in your love life, your friendship state, what's happening on a work level or with your security, your family, your children. It's just like, it's not going to rob you day after day, moment after moment of your ability to go somewhere within yourself and find that still point. And that's a really beautiful thing, especially against the backdrop of a fiery Aries energy that just wants us to get going and be impulsive and get moving. So, you know, there's a kind of almost counterintuitive sort of process that's coming through in this reading for you in April, but I think it's going to make a lot of sense to you as you feel your way in through the course of the next few weeks. We're also, of course, going to be touching into the eclipse energies that are going to be highlighting much more strongly through the course of next month, May and into June. So you might even start to see some of these things coming back up that you were dealing with toward the end of last year. Now, the Five of Swords is saying, yes, there's a couple of setbacks, there's some minor challenges that we need to make our way through, but you need to remember what I said, right? You are wildly capable this month, wildly capable by way of the Magician's energy, by way of the wildness of that lion, but at the same time, this problem solving, this quiet inner strength, the wisdom that you can bring to bear to situations. Bear in mind that there will also be people that will be sent directly on your path in order to help you. Perhaps those who have already been through similar experiences or that just have that level of understanding in terms of what you are going through. So seeking help and reaching out is going to be exceptionally important by way of overcoming this. It is temporary. Whatever is going on with this doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to define the month. It doesn't have to define the pathway. That's what you need to keep in your mind. Is your glass going to be half full or half empty, right? You have a choice, and this is a month where we want you to be exceptionally positive. If I can say one thing, the more you can move through the course of April and change things on a daily basis by way of your routine, by way of how you do things, the more you're going to allow a new rhythm of energy to come in, and then you're going to be able to start to see things very differently. Your Seven of Pentacles has you deep in assessment mode of situations, of where you stand, of what you've been through, of where you're going. And it is very reflective, actually, very reflective. You have a lot to say, but I still think you're choosing the timing of when you want to say it. It's kind of interesting. Now, I think for some of you, there are going to be opportunities coming in on the horizon. There might be some changes in direction by way of career and job situations. You might also see some nice things karmically coming back for you that you've invested your energy in previously. The full moon coming in the sign of Scorpio on the 26th lights up your 6th house of service, of career and work. And so there is something that feels like it's coming to a point of fruition and completion, but also that we can understand by way of our approach and perhaps what we went through on an emotional level to get to this point. It's almost like, how do I translate this? So say you have worked really hard to achieve something, by way of a project or time and effort that you put into a job or into a business. And then as we come to that full moon, there's a realization of something that you learned about yourself or the way that you did it and where you got in your own way, where you made it more difficult than it needed to be. Because there's something about the course of April that's showing you that there is an easier way. There's an easier way for things. And so I think part of the piece is just the allowance that says it doesn't have to be this hard. I don't need to make it such an uphill challenge for myself. I don't need to feel like I have to keep traversing these mountains after mountains. So there's some kind of beautiful shift and change that comes in on that level. That will also translate for some of you in terms of your relationships and just saying, I'm just tired and weary of kind of coming at it from that particular energy place. Like I've nothing new to learn from that experience in this moment, So Pluto's also going to go retrograde, by the way, right at the end of the month, just after that full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So we went through this last year. So again, a little bit of a revisitation that's taking place for you in some aspect on that. What we are seeing, here we have the energy of the Lovers coming through. The important choices are going to be presented to you through the course of April, Gemini. You're going to need to be strong in asserting yourself. You're going to need to have your eyes wide open. If you say yes, if you sign up to something, be crystal clear about what it's asking of you and from you, is what I want to say. And reflect on how it aligns with those hopes and dreams that you are reacquainting with yourself through the course of Aries season. And you're going to learn a lot about perhaps your readiness to make different sorts of life choices. I really think that to a certain extent for many of you, there's something about the month of April where life is going to take on a very different meaning for you. Now, yes, we might have a firm focus by way of what's happening in a sense of relationships, but there's also partnerships and agreements coming through here in connection to work, I feel, that's also going to be important and we need to address. There's an offer, an invitation coming your way. You feel perhaps a little bit surprised by it. Toward the end of the month, we have a series of conjunctions with Uranus on the 22nd with Venus, 24th with Mercury, and then on the 30th with the Sun. Now, these conjunctions are the kind of meeting of, two different entities that want to come together, want to play as part of a team, but it can kind of it's like they bump up against one another and they can cause that sort of unexpected jolt of energy. Now, these surprises don't necessarily come through on a negative, but they can kind of take the wind out of our sail a little bit because we were so not planning or anticipating that particular move. And so there is this sense of just wanting to prepare you for that. And again, your strength is coming in here. And that's just a reminder about not losing yourself in the moment of things, okay? Because sometimes, the energy of something can rush in and it can feel like that beautiful bubble, but our priorities can get really skewed. And it's just important that you understand what is going to be right for you, not just in the here and now, but in the future as well. So, I think that there's going to be some strong counsel and guidance from Spirit coming in to make sure that you stay on track and that rite of passage that you have been through is moving you in the direction that's going to be right for you, okay? But certainly some of you are going to be having some very interesting meetings, conversations, connections, even new energies stepping forth. So we've got the energy of the King of Wands here. So we've got the King and Queen of Wands, and we have the challenge of the 5 in the midst of it, right? Kind of interesting. So very charged, amped up energy. And it's exactly like what I said. It's a month of two halves because all down this side, we have the peace, we have the tranquility, we have the kind of solace of just being able to find this kind of level, balanced place within. And then all of this kind of really creative, frenetic, charged up, visionary energy that just feels like it's been whipped up into a storm a little bit. So we might have, I guess the analogy I want to say is a bit of a storm in a teacup. So you might kind of hit some situations that might be activated by either this king or queen coming through in the course of April that just feel like they make a mountain out of a molehill. And actually the more you can just kind of look in a different direction and just say, do you know what, everything's fine, I'm just going to keep moving, I'm just going to keep focused on what's important to me and where I'm prioritizing myself, I think that's going to be exceptionally valuable. At the same time, there's also this level of kind of being on the same page, so the king and queen working in harmony and synergy and sort of against the odds, so it just feels like you can come together by way of partnership or shared vision and understanding, with people, whether it be friendships, professionally or romantically, and actually be able to achieve an awful lot in a very short space of time. I see you exceptionally busy through the course of April, Gemini, but at the same time still making sure that you take time out to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's going to be really important, okay? Now, these fire signs, there's a strong kind of sense of whether it be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or certainly people who are expressing themselves in that way, are also here to kind of activate some passion, some desire, some intensity to a situation that perhaps needs it. you know, especially if you feel a little bit of apathy or kind of you're just lost a little bit of your own spark or your inner light. Expect that there are going to be situations and people coming in to kind of amp that up. There's a lot of vision coming through in this reading, a tremendous amount of vision. The Magician, the Queen, and the King of Wands are showing you this is the art of the possible. Don't you dare feel for 1 second that things can't change, that they can't turn in your favor. What is it that you want to give birth to right now? It's rich, fertile energy with which to harness and to make yours and to create the pathway and the directive for yourself, you know? And I think that you are set to see signs and validation showing up to that effect, okay? So by way of relationships, just keep a close eye on this kind of vibe of Mars in Cancer from the 23rd, because it does bring a little bit of this weird guilt-tripping kind of energy. It's like, well, it's okay for you. And, you know, it's all of those kind of little niggly, not that nice kind of catty comments that come through. I don't really see you being particularly affected by them, but there are like minor irritations that come in just when you don't need them, you know? So if people are kind of on that wavelength with you, or even if you find yourself kind of going into the energy of that, just try to remind yourself where you need to take time out. So your oracle card is sleep. And, you know, to sleep through Aries season is kind of interesting. Like I said, it's counterintuitive. Is it the time when you feel like you just want to get going? There's something that Spirit are saying here about the need to rest, the need to conserve. And perhaps when you are hitting a challenge or you're coming up against a wall and you just feel like, I can't find a way around this, actually what they're saying is let's clear the momentum of the energy that's been built up around this, and the fastest way to do that is just take a nap, take some rest, take a meditation and clear it out, okay? We also have the full moon shown in the background here, so there may be a real tiredness of energy that comes in. I think Mars in Cancer kind of delivers that slightly anyway, and of course into Taurus season we're like 12th house of that energy of healing, of closure, of release, of winding down and letting go. And so that is going to hit you a little bit through the end of April. But at the same time, we have all of those Uranus conjunctions. So it's just going to feel like a little bit strange by way of how the energy wants to work with you. It's almost like when you're ready to get up and go, the universe is slowing things down for you. And then when you're kind of all sleepy, it's like, right now we're going to get going. So yeah, just you're going to have to roll with that a little bit. But what we want you to understand is that there is this energy of constant movement and progression. Okay, so these are flower essence cards, and you have a hydrangea. You have a heartfelt apology. Okay, so expect this, or is it from you to yourself or from you to another? I love all of the aquas and the blues here because it feels very connected to the throat chakra. So somebody finally speaking their truth, somebody finally saying, and perhaps that's what your Five of Swords is about as well, you know, so you have to hold out for that, you know, even if somebody does something or says something that is really in your world not okay and you feel really let down by someone or something, then you have this apology coming good, and it feels that it is very balancing by way of the energy and actually gives you the opportunity to find peace in the situation. And I think that's going to be really important for you, just to enable you to keep moving forward. So these are astrology cards. Let's just take a quick look and see how they want to add to the conversation here. Oh, interesting. So we've got the 7th house, profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. Now, of course, we talked about the fact that Juno, the asteroid goddess, is going retrograde in Sagittarius, your 7th house, with a focus around commitment, love, soulmates. We also have, of course, the energy of the lovers. And we're also working into the eclipse with North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius. So there's a lot of focus in and around the important connections and relationships in your life. And it's not just romantic, you know, this could also be a huge reevaluation month for you by way of how you're connecting, the people that you're allowing into your inner circle, you know, and where things are progressing and moving, and perhaps there's a need for more support or help. There's also a close kind of evaluation taking place with the Seven of Pentacles to make sure that the choices and decisions that you're making by way of the Lovers are really right for you. And that does require a level of strength in knowing how you've changed and what you need, not just in the here and now, but like we said, all of the vision energy that's coming in the month of April it's almost going to force, it's almost going to bring to the surface issues and things that haven't been working, because they now have to be addressed because you're going forward, and it's like you can't carry that weight with you. You've learned too much, you've come too far, so it's like there has to be something that gets put down here. And I think, you know, we've got these sort of two birds of peace. Again, this energy of peace, of solace, of quietness. So, you know, even in the background, if there's a lot of charged up, amped up, aggressive kind of conflict energy, I feel like you're saying, you know, it's not my choice. Like, I remove myself from that. That isn't my experience. That isn't my reality. You're choosing your own reality through the course of this month, Gemini. Okay, so this is a general reading. I hope it is going to be valuable for you as you move your way through April. If you want to join me for the extended, we talk for another 20 minutes or so, and we just go a little bit deeper into the messages here. And I'm just going to invite you to think about a question that I might not have answered in the main spread, and we'll pull a couple of cards and cover that off for you in the extended reading. You can find the link for that in the description and the comment section underneath. The extended readings are $8. They're a way to support my work and the channel, and I'm deeply grateful for your support. So I'm just going to go ahead and clarify this main 9-card spread now. So just beginning with the Six of Swords, and we're coming in with the Ace of Cups. This is for me really you taking care of you. I love that we have a stream here, just like we had in the Six of Swords. So you're moving through water. At the same time, we also have the fish kind of going upstream. So that's sort of interesting. We'll look into that in the extended. We also have the energy of the world coming in here. Beautiful. Okay, we've got the Queen of Swords, which of course represents an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, but for me it's this focus that you've got through the course of this month. Ace of Pentacles, gorgeous. Okay, we have another King of Wands coming in here. So is this fire sign really important? And the energy of the star, another link to Aquarius. Eight of Pentacles. Okay. That Five of Pentacles, you know, I think you have been, it's been a hard, arduous journey, you know. And there is just the sense of you've had to go it alone. But look at this gorgeous fire that's in the background. You haven't seen it yet. It's right there, though. Six of Pentacles, help coming in. Beautiful. Four of Swords here. Again, this card of rest, peace. Seven of Swords. It's interesting. So Seven of Swords over the Strength. Okay. The King of Swords. So maybe this is the problem. Somebody a little problematic, or a situation that we're going to be dealing with. Queen of Pentacles coming in here. It's an earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But we have Four of Wands here. Stability, peace. Ace of Wands. Oh, dropping all my cards here. Okay, we've got another Magician coming in here. Four of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. A little bit of a trust thing going on here, I feel. Needing to rebuild some trust. High Priestess with the Slate, beautiful. That's where you're accessing that information and wisdom. And the Moon. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me for your April soul story. If you've enjoyed, please do drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you're joining me for the extended, I'm going to continue this conversation and we're going to pull out a few more messages for you. So thank you so much. I wish you gorgeous blessings for April and I'll see you again next month. Bye for now.